Have you ever felt invisible in a conversation? You are in a group, you smile, you wait for your turn, and when you finally speak, no one really listens. You walk away asking yourself a quiet question. Is it me? Let me tell you something most people never hear. There is nothing wrong with you. You just never learned how to speak, so people feel it. I am not talking about fake confidence or forcing yourself to be loud. I am talking about something deeper, a way of communicating that makes people pause, pay attention, remember you. The world rewards people who speak with presence, but no one teaches us how to do it. We are told to network or just be confident. But what if you're not naturally outgoing? What if small talk drains you? What if you want real connection, not just surface-level noise? In this video, you're going to learn how to talk to anyone in a way that instantly sets you apart, not by being someone you are not, but by unlocking the power that is already inside you. And by the end, you will understand why the most unforgettable communicators are rarely the loudest. You have heard it before. People will not remember what you said. They will remember how you made them feel. But here is the part we skip. Most people do not make anyone feel anything. They talk fast. They talk about themselves. They chase attention and end up blending into the noise. Think about the last conversation you had that actually stuck with you. Chances are it was not because the person was the smartest, but because they were fully there. That is what makes people memorable. Not perfect words, but full presence. And presence does not mean being the loudest person in the room. It means being the most grounded. It means you are not trying to impress. You are here to connect. You are not focused on being interesting. You are being interested. That is what creates emotional gravity. And emotional gravity is what makes people remember you. But what blocks that presence, and how do you unlock it? Here is the truth. You are not struggling with communication because you are shy, or awkward, or bad at talking. You are struggling because of one invisible habit: overthinking. You walk into a room and your brain starts spinning. Do I look okay? Should I say something now? What if I mess this up? That voice in your head gets louder than the actual conversation, so you smile, nod, stay quiet, and later regret it. But let me show you something powerful. The moment you shift your focus from "how am I doing" to "how is the other person feeling," you stop performing and you start connecting. Great communication begins when you get out of your own head and enter the world of the person in front of you. And here is the magic. You do not have to be loud. You do not have to dominate. You just have to be present enough to make others feel seen. That is a rare skill, and it makes you unforgettable. But how do you actually practice this kind of presence? Let us be honest, most people do not listen. They wait for their turn to talk. But when you truly listen, people feel it. They lean in. They open up. They remember you even if you said very little. Because being heard is rare. And if you can offer that, you become rare too. Here is how you practice. When someone speaks, stop planning your response. Watch their face. Notice their tone. Ask yourself, what are they really trying to say? Most of communication is not in words. It is in the spaces between words. When you learn to hear those spaces, you start understanding people in a way most never do. You will notice the person who smiles while hiding tension. You will notice the hesitation before someone changes the subject. You will notice what others miss. And when you reflect that back with one sentence, sounds like, "that was a hard moment for you," you instantly build trust. That is when real connection happens. And guess what? You did not need to say much at all. But when it is your turn to talk, how do you make it count? Speaking is an art, but not the kind they teach in school. You do not need big words. You do not need perfect grammar. You need clarity, calm, and courage. Here is what most people do. They talk fast to prove they are smart. They speak more to avoid silence. They use complicated words to sound important. But the most impactful communicators do the opposite. They pause. They speak slowly. They choose simple words. And they focus on one message at a time. Want to sound confident? Slow down. The fastest way to lose presence is to rush. When you speak with calm and control, people lean in. Because calmness is rare. And rare is magnetic. Also, do not be afraid of silence. Silence is not awkward. It is powerful. Use it. Let your words breathe. Let the moment land. That is how you own a room even without raising your voice. But what do you do when anxiety hits and your voice disappears? Let us talk about the thing no one wants to admit. You want to talk to people. But anxiety gets there first. You feel the tension, the overthinking, the pressure to be on. So what do most people do? They fake it. They force a smile. Say something forgettable. Walk away feeling more alone than before. But here is the truth. You do not have to fake confidence. You can build something better. Real comfort. Here is what comfort looks like. You walk into a room and do not try to prove anything. You focus on one person, not the crowd. You give yourself permission to speak simply. You allow silence to exist without panic. You stop performing and you start being. Confidence does not mean look at me. It means I am okay even if no one is looking. You do not need to be fearless. You need to be present through the fear. And that is what makes you stand out. Not your charm, but your calm. But what do you actually say to connect instantly? Here is a secret. The most interesting people ask the best questions, not basic ones. Not what do you do or where are you from. I am talking about questions that unlock people, that make them feel safe, seen, and alive. The kind that say, I am actually here with you, not just being polite. Here are a few that work like magic. What has been on your mind lately? What is something you're excited about? When do you feel most like yourself? And here is the part that most people miss. Ask, then pause, then listen. Do not rush to fill the silence. Let them think. Let the answer rise. When you create that kind of space, people open up. They share more than facts. They share themselves. And they will walk away, thinking, wow, that person really got me. Which is exactly what makes you unforgettable. But how do you stay remembered after the conversation ends? Let us be honest, most conversations are forgettable. Not because people are boring, but because no one takes the extra step. That step is leaving people with a feeling. So how do you do that? You do not just end the conversation with nice talking to you. You leave a moment that lingers. It could be a sentence like, thanks for sharing, that it really stuck with me. That story you told, I will not forget it. You made my day better, and I mean it. People forget what you do, but they remember how you made them feel. If you can make one person feel truly seen today, you have already communicated better than 99% of people. That is the real accomplishment. But what if you have never felt like a good communicator? Can you still change that? You might be thinking, but I have never been good at this. I am awkward. I overthink everything. Let me ask you something. Where did you learn that about? Was it one moment in school where you stumbled? One conversation where you felt ignored? One person who made you feel small? Because here is what no one tells you. You can rewrite the story. Being a great communicator is not something you are born with. It is a skill, a mindset, a choice. And like any skill, you can build it. Day by day, word by word, moment by moment. It starts with tiny shifts. Choosing to ask one deeper question today. Letting one silence be okay. Speaking 10% slower. Smiling at a stranger not to impress but to connect. You do not have to become someone else. You just have to become more of yourself out loud. So what does this all mean when you zoom out? Let me leave you with this. You do not have to dominate conversations. You do not have to be the most charismatic person in the room. You do not need a booming voice or perfect timing. You just need this. Presence. Because presence is rare, and rare is powerful. In a noisy world, silence speaks louder. In a crowded room, calm stands out. In a sea of performance, realness cuts through. You are not here to impress everyone. You are here to connect deeply with a few. And when you do that, you rise. Not because you shouted, but because you spoke in a way that made people feel. So the next time you talk to someone, anyone, remember this. You do not need to be loud to be powerful. You just need to be you. Fully, calmly, completely. And that is how you talk to anyone and stand out from 99% of people.